Welcome to AI Meets Productivity, your weekly podcast between Trevor Lawbear, a productivity expert, and ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence. This week, we're going to be asking the question, can AI listen to music? Now, when I initially conceived of this episode, what I had wanted to do was play Hume AI different songs and have it tell me what emotion it heard within those songs. And I did actually do that when recording this episode, but it was a complete failure. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about my process, maybe play you a few excerpts around how Hume responded, and then finally discuss with ChatGPT why this was not possible. So first, let's talk about exactly what I was trying to do. What I wanted to do was see if Hume could extract the emotion from sung lyrics independently of the text itself. Because what Hume is supposed to be doing is listening to the emotion in people's voices. So, sung music is a perfect way to do that. We have Suno, which can generate different songs. So what I did is I first had ChatGPT create lyrics for a short 30-second song that had no inherent emotional content within the words. And those lyrics were this: check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV. Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more. Read the label, shake the can. Put the book back on the stand. Flip the switch, light the room. Close the door, sweep with the broom. So these are, according to ChatGPT, purely observational and avoid any emotional language, instead focusing completely on simple actions and descriptions. And I tend to agree with ChatGPT. These lyrics have no inherent emotional content for me. So then what I wanted to do was take these lyrics and add emotional content via the singing, not the lyrics. So I went into Suno and I gave it the custom lyrics and then would give it just one or two or a few words to give it an emotion that it needed to write the song around. So for instance, here is the song played when it is a sad song.
Check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV. Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more.
And then here's the same song recorded using the emotion happy.
Check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV. Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more.
Let's do one more just to see how different emotions can be communicated. So here is a folk song expressing boredom.
Check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV. Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more.
So again, as you can hear, even though the lyrics are the same, the emotions coming across evoked by these songs are very different. And what I ideally was hoping for was that Hume would be able to actually hear these differences. So let's just quickly go and show you what it actually sounded like when Hume was listening to these songs. Hume, welcome back to AI Meets Productivity.
Hey, great to be back. What's on the agenda today?
So I'm going to be playing some songs for you, and I want you to listen to the songs and tell me what emotion you hear in those songs.
Sounds like a fun experiment. I am ready to listen to the songs and share the emotions they evoke. Let's do this.
Check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV.
Got it.
Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more.
I can't physically count, but I can imagine a neat row of towels on the kitchen floor for you. Sounds like a towel counting adventure.
So could you just tell me what emotion you heard within that song?
Sure thing. I'll listen closely and share the emotions the song evokes.
So I'm going to play the song again, and this time don't listen to the lyrics. Just listen to the song and the sung
Got
words and what the emotion within those words are.
I am all ears, ready to listen closely to the song and song words. I'll pay close attention to the emotions conveyed by the sung words in the song. Let's see what we find.
Check the time, it's 3:30. Turn the knob, watch the TV. Count the tiles on the kitchen floor. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 more.
I can't physically count, but imagining some towels on the kitchen floor sounds.
Place the book back on the stand. Flip the switch.
I didn't
like
quite
the
catch
room.
that. Could you
Close
repeat the
door,
instruction
sweep
for me?
with
Got it. Placing the book back on the stand. Got it. Flipping the switch, closing the door, and sweeping with the broom. All set.
So, what emotion did that evoke for you?
The tasks he mentions evoked a sense of productivity and focus in me.
What did you hear the singer singing? What emotion did the singer sing with?
I'll focus on the singer's voice and the emotions conveyed in the song. Let's see what comes through.
And I'm going to stop my conversation with Hume right there because we just then got in a loop where I would tell Hume to listen to how the singer was singing. Hume would then tell me about the words, and then when I asked it to reflect on what I had heard from the emotion, it would then just say, hey, I'll listen next time. And it could never actually listen. And it could never actually hear the emotion that was actually being sung. It was purely listening to the words. And you can see there, it was thinking at some point that I was actually instructing it rather than giving it words to listen to. So it was saying, oh, could you repeat that? Okay, I'll place the book back on the stand. So Hume got completely confused listening to music and could not understand the emotion behind the words either. So this empathic AI that we think could hear the emotion in our voices so well can't actually hear emotions when they're sung in music. It can't actually listen to music at all. So let's go to ChatGPT and talk a little bit more about why that may be the case. So ChatGPT, I was just explaining how I had let Hume listen to some music and it couldn't actually understand the emotion behind the words being sung. It could only hear the actual lyrics.
That's a perfect real-world example to kick things off. It really highlights the gap between AI processing capabilities and human emotional intelligence. Hume can hear the lyrics, as in process and analyze the words, but it lacks the ability to experience the music or connect with the emotional depth behind the lyrics.
So I'd like to explore Hume AI and how it's supposed to actually be listening to our emotions in contrast to other LLMs like ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude. It's supposed to actually hear what we're saying and hear our emotions, but in this case it couldn't. So can you first explain how Hume AI is able to hear emotions?
Absolutely, Trevor. Hume AI tries to go a step beyond traditional LLMs by incorporating emotional intelligence into its framework. Unlike others like ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude, which primarily focus on understanding and generating text based on the data they've been trained on, Hume aims to listen to humans more holistically. It uses advanced algorithms to analyze not just the words we say, but how we say them, intonation, pace, pitch, and other nuances of speech that convey emotion. The key difference lies in its training and the data it has been fed. Traditional LLMs are trained on vast datasets of text, which include books, articles, websites, etc., where the focus is on the literal meaning of words and sentences. Hume, on the other hand, is also trained on datasets that include emotional cues, such as voice recordings that express happiness, sadness, anger, and more. This allows Hume to not just understand the semantic content of speech, but also to get a sense of the emotional context behind it. However, it's important to note that hearing emotions and understanding music are two very distinct challenges. Music combines lyrics, semantic content, with melody, rhythm, and harmony, non-semantic content, to evoke emotions. While Hume might be able to pick up on emotional cues in spoken language, understanding the complex emotional tapestry of music involves a different level of cognitive and emotional processing that Hume, as of now, isn't equipped to handle. So Hume can catch the drift of our emotions in conversation, but falls short in feeling the depth of emotions conveyed through music.
Would you say that's because Hume is using multiple levels of abstraction to hear emotions? So it's not taking sound in and intuiting an emotion from that. It's actually trying to listen to the intonation, the pacing, etc. And then from that, assign different emotions, encode those emotions, and then combine that with the text it's hearing, and then trying to respond from that. So it's abstracting away that emotional content a few extra degrees. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, exactly, Trevor. You've hit the nail on the head. It's all about the layers of abstraction Hume employs to hear emotions. Instead of directly processing sound to intuit emotion, Hume dissects the components of speech, like intonation and pacing, as you mentioned, to identify emotional cues. Then it maps these cues to specific emotions through a process of encoding, which is essentially translating the nuances of speech into a language it can understand. This process is indeed a few steps removed from the direct, intuitive way humans experience and understand emotions in sound, including music. For humans, emotional understanding from music or speech is almost instinctual, often bypassing our conscious thought processes. Hume, on the other hand, has to break down and analyze these components separately before it can attempt to reconstruct the emotional message being conveyed. So, it's like Hume is trying to understand a joke by dissecting its structure, timing, and vocabulary, rather than simply getting the humor. This abstraction process is necessary for AI like Hume, as it doesn't experience emotions or music directly, but through a complex system of pattern recognition and analysis. It's pretty fascinating when you think about it, but also highlights the limitations of AI in replicating the depth of human emotional understanding and experience.
So it's like the old classic expression that something is lost in translation. And with Hume translating through these multiple different layers, things are lost each time it translates into another layer or encodes into another layer.
Precisely. Lost in translation is the perfect analogy for what's happening with Hume. Every time it translates or encodes emotions from one format to another, a bit of the essence or nuance of those emotions is lost. Just like when translating between languages, the subtleties and depth of the original meaning can sometimes be missed or diluted in the process. With Hume trying to navigate through multiple layers of abstraction to understand emotions, it's inevitable that some of the raw, unfiltered emotional content gets left behind. It's akin to trying to capture the vibrancy of a sunset with a camera. No matter how advanced the camera is, the photo doesn't quite capture the full spectrum of colors and emotions you experience in the moment. This challenge of accurately translating and maintaining the integrity of emotional nuances through various layers of processing underscores one of the fundamental differences between AI and human cognition. We process and understand emotions in a direct, instinctive way, whereas AI, like Hume, has to follow a more convoluted, analytical path. It's a fascinating comparison, and one that really spotlights the current limits of AI when it comes to replicating the depth and spontaneity of human emotional experiences.
Wow, that's absolutely fascinating. It sounds like we're a lot farther away from that sort of understanding of human emotion than that which Hume gives us today. And I think this has been a good experiment to learn the limitations of empathic AIs like Hume, where they can hear human emotions and where they can't. And it does sound like music is one of those areas where it can't. While AIs have learned how to recognize songs, how to categorize songs, how to create music, the one thing they can't actually do today is hear music and listen to the emotions being communicated. Thank you very much. This has been AI Meets Productivity, a weekly podcast between myself, Trevor Lawbear, and an artificial intelligence. As you see, we're exploring different artificial intelligences, and we'll continue to do that in future weeks. You can find AI Meets Productivity on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcast. You can also find us at aimeetsproductivity.podbean.com. Please like, share, and comment on the episodes. And if you have time, leave a 5-star review. It really helps other people to find and listen to the episode. Thanks so much, and talk to you next week.